Well, hello, class. This section is on leadership, and I think it's a very important section starting at page 151 of your book, of your textbook, because as you know, I have a passion for leadership, and we have a guest speaker, as I mentioned when you were doing your presentations on Monday, that we have Ken Strong from my co-author of my first book, Leadership is a Choice, and also the chief executive officer of the Colonial Nursing Home in Weymouth, Mass. He's going to be talking about leadership and what it means to be a leader. And one thing that we were always, I shouldn't say debating, but we both have our views on whether leaders are born or are leaders made. I tend to think that there is some leadership gene inside of everyone that if given the proper environment, that leadership gene can be developed and you can obviously be a great leader. Ken tends to think that leaders are made, not born. He thinks that if you're put in the right environment, you can be trained to be a leader, but not everyone has it within them to lead. Other individuals think it's a combination of both. But nevertheless, the learning objectives of this particular section have to do with identifying the factors of leadership. Leaders, those being led, and the context. So you can follow right along with 151 in your book. There's a distinct difference between leadership and management. And I tend to think that there's an integration between the two. You can be a manager because someone gave you a title, but you don't necessarily have to be a manager to be a great leader. But we'll talk about the differences between the two. And we're going to describe the trait, behavioral, and situational aspects of different types of leaders. Charismatic leaders, referent leaders, leaders that make a difference in the transformational process. For example, a company needs to get its culture changed. How do they go about doing that in order to survive their competition? We're going to look at some of the contemporary issues of leadership and why these issues are important. What I want you guys to do is to pay attention on page 152, figure 5-1. It says factors that define leadership. Again, leaders have certain traits, okay? And they have certain behaviors. And this is when we get into leaders versus managers, okay? Then look at figure 5-2, and they talk about leadership as a function of concern for both people and tasks. Some are more people-orientated as leaders. They're very charismatic. They're very referent. They reach out. And some are more concerned with the technical aspects of leadership, which could cross into management. Okay, in other words, there's a certain protocol, you're a leader. These types of environments very much are people that deal with, first responders, police, firefighters, military, life and death situations where they can't afford to go out of protocol. There's certain things they need to do, but not every situation is the same. So, and again, I'm just going over the figures and then we go over the technical aspects of things, but looking at figure 5-3, that has to do with the model of leadership. But paying attention to that model, I'm going to put it up for you. You can see that. There it is, close enough? Okay. The model has to do with, are we more supportive? Are we more coaching? Are we more outgoing? Are we more diverse? Again, there's leaders that focus on task and leaders that focus on support. We're going to be talking about different types of contemporary issues in leadership and about ethics. Wow. Accountability in leadership. It's a big problem these days. I'm going to talk about that. So I'm going to basically look at some of the takeaways for this particular chapter, I should say, section. And I think it's really important that you consider, how do you fare as a leader? Like, what do you see yourself as, more of a follower or a leader, or maybe a leader in the fold? Someone has to be developed and mentored. Or are you a leader already and do you mentor others? These are the types of things we're going to be talking about. I'm going to try to bring Ken, please try to be on time, please, really, on Monday. I'm going to try to bring Ken in early because he has a very long day, and he's doing us the favor by coming in and speaking with us, giving him your attention. It's kind of difficult when someone starts talking and people are walking in front of them and sitting down and fidgeting around. Okay, so having said that, class starts at 4:15. I'll bring them in around 4:30. Try not to get there any later than that. Appreciate it. Also, I'll be, during the week, I'll be working on your, correcting your presentations for the Apple case. And remember, Monday, bring in your hard copy of your proposals with your uploads. I need your uploads to grade your proposals. You have a link for that. You know where that link is. So it's important you get that up. And obviously, uploading your slides, if it's there. You gave me the hard copies yesterday. I'm doing this on Tuesday. So if you turned in the hard copies Monday night, that's great. I'll double check that. Outside of that, I will see you Monday.